What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Adam Kownacki. And Adam Kownacki had this to share with his choices and decisions with his career. And he said that he learned an important lesson turning down the Anthony Joshua fight. Now, of course, we know this was almost a year ago, okay? Matter of fact, it was right at a year ago, because when he found out about the fight, it was in May. So it was right at a year ago now. So little backstory. Of course, we know Jarrell Miller failed. So since Jarrell Miller failed the test, they were desperately looking for American fighters. You know, that fight fought basically in America. Adam Kownacki was 19-0 with 15 KOs at the time. He had just knocked out Gerald Washington in like 2 rounds. You know, his fiance or his wife or whatnot was pregnant, and he was partying, you know, and he got 20 pounds overweight, you know, and then when he got the call due to Jarrell Miller's positive drug testing, he turned it down because it was 35 days out. Okay, that's a month and 5 days, basically. You know, a little bit over a month, depends on what month, right? And he learned a lesson because he could have taken the fight, but he wasn't in shape between the fight. And knowing what we know now, Anthony Joshua, since that opponent was not Jarrell Miller, I think we can agree that version of Anthony Joshua would have been the same version anyway. He would have looked at Adam Kownacki, another out of shape, bald, fat guy that looks very disarming, right? He would have looked at Adam Kownacki like, you know what? This guy, you know, I'll let him hold my belts too, if he would have asked for him. You know, because I feel that Joshua's, the threat was gone. The initial threat was gone, so he wasn't really worried about his opponent like he should have been. That could have been Adam Kownacki's claim to fame, you know. And since he didn't stay in the shape between training, and I don't think he believed that he could be in the right type of shape, I think that's why he didn't take it. Now, the funny thing about Adam Kownacki, though, Adam Kownacki is a guy that doesn't look like he's in hella shape anyway. He looks like a plumber. You know what I mean? You have Mario, Luigi. He would have been, I don't know, Paulie, right? Because he doesn't look like a boxer. They call him the babyface assassin because he looks like a guy that wants to fix your sink, not a guy that can punch you in the face and knock you out. So, you know, but he said he'd think he had been doing himself a disservice, but it just shows you when you believe in yourself. Now, I know Andy Ruiz just came off a fight, and he went right back into training. But based on what we know, we've seen other fighters take fights like Manny Pacquiao 2 weeks out and makes a name for himself. If Manny Pacquiao wouldn't have beat Ledwaba, he wouldn't be the man he is today at all. And that was at 122 pounds, people. You know, that was before the 126 and the 130 and the 135. So he took that off 2 weeks' notice on a wild whim. Adam Kownacki could have been that person that took that risk, that took a leap of faith, that would have got himself in shape, because, you know, 6 to 8 weeks is a decent training camp. A lot of people like to use 10 to 12, you know, guys like Danny Jacobs and, you know, guys like that. But 6 to 8 weeks, that's a normal training camp, okay? You had 5. He could have went in there, whipped himself into shape, got the weight off. 20 pounds isn't that bad, but you're a heavyweight, so what difference does it make? You know what I mean? I doubt your hand speed will be hindered that much by 20 pounds. You know, maybe your movement, but not your hand speed. And the Anthony Joshua that fought Andy Ruiz was the same one. So, you know, the type of fighter that Adam Kownacki is, he's a combination fighter and a pressure fighter. If he would have hurt Anthony Joshua in that fight, he could have done the same thing to Anthony Joshua, I feel. Why? Because of the way he punches. He punches in great volume. He's not as fast as Andy Ruiz, but he's an accurate puncher. Okay? He's not a huge banger, but neither is Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz is not regarded as a huge knockout artist, but he has fast hands. You know, plotting fighters. You know what I mean? You know, I think Andy Ruiz has better head movement and stuff like that, but you know, I think Adam Kownacki would have been hit more. However, if Joshua couldn't knock out Adam Kownacki, and Adam Kownacki hits him first due to the state he was in, whatever was wrong with him, right? Because we still don't know, because he still hasn't told us. No excuses. Right? But at the end of the day, he could have done a similar job. Now, this is where it gets interesting. As he sits there, watches Andy Ruiz take out Anthony Joshua for the first time in his career. Sure, he was shocked. So he said to himself, I'm going to stay in the shape between fights. Right? I think Amir Khan said something similar to that, but you know, that's a good idea. You know, Dillian White should learn that too. Should stay in the shape, you know, but he was partying. He had a good knockout win or whatnot. But there's more to the story. Okay. Adam Kownacki, he goes in there. He takes out Chris Arreola of all people, right? Gets in a slugfest with Charles Martin. So it's Charles Martin, then Chris Arreola, right? Then Dominic Brazil calls him out. He ducks Dominic Brazil. And then when he does that, he fights Robert Helenius and gets knocked out. Look, there's the thing that you need to look at. In the heavyweight division, a lot of people think, well, man, the chances are that you're fighting someone that's already been beat. Okay? And in fact, he already fought Charles Martin. It was Gerald Washington, then Chris Arreola, a soft touch. Then he gets knocked out by Robert Helenius. Now, looking back at his career choices, this hits him even harder because now he's not defeated. He was never a champion anyway. He was in line to be a champion, but he didn't make it there because Robert Helenius foiled all that. Again, now you know what you know, and you look back at what you could have done, and that's what we have. We have a guy that could have been the unified heavyweight champion of the world. You know, I know Andrew Galata was a very good fighter, you know, and I think he looked at him as a role model or whatnot, but that just shows you when you don't believe in yourself and you take short touches like advisors like Al Heyman would recommend you to do, and you don't take that leap of faith and you don't put it on the line, you could get beat anyway at any given time. And that's exactly what happened to Adam Kownacki. Adam Kownacki was a guy that thought, hey, well, you know what? I'm going to be in line to fight Wilder or whoever has that WBC belt, you know. And what ended up happening, he thought that, hey, as long as I take these soft touches, I don't want to go up against Brazil. You know, needless to say, Brazil was a guy that got knocked out by that time by Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. Okay, the two champions at the time. Okay, so You duck that fight to fight Robert Helenius, and then you get knocked out. How ironic is that? How ironic is that? Really? Because if you look at it, you could have fought at least for the championships, right? Instead of waiting in line, taking a fight, or playing it safe, like a lot of those guys are notorious for and have a reputation for on the PBC banner. You know, they'll rather fight someone and then here's the thing. The worst thing that happened to Adam Kownacki is that he got knocked out, because I think it was set aside for him to win a fight like that. You know, those type of fighters are protected because they know they are in position to have a potential big fight. You know, the build up plan. Okay, you know, you build a fighter up, and you keep him, you know, winning. You keep him in there with guys that you know that he can, you know, indeed beat, or chances are that he can beat. And it always doesn't happen. So again, if you look at what he should have or could have had, it's a further loss for Adam Kownacki. I don't know what he'll do for now. His career is not over, but he could have been the guy instead of Andy Ruiz. People were praising. He could have made those two big paydays, one in Madison Square Garden for what, 4 to 5, maybe 6 million, right? Because we don't know what he would have negotiated. He probably would have got the same amount, so $7 million. He would have renegotiated because Al Heyman is again will want him to have more money, to get more money. So that's another $13 million. Okay, so he could have made $20 million last year as opposed to, Jesus, what? Maybe $1 million. You know, he might get $400,000 or $500,000 a fight, right? I don't know what Kownacki's salary is, but it can't be too much being a non-champion. You know, because if you look at Deontay's salary in 18, a year before that, it was only $1.5 million or $2 million tops, right? So anyway, that's food for thought, guys. You guys tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.